Welcome, Margaret and Cassandra from Dress for Success. I'm extremely excited to have you guys on. I was really just introduced to the organization not much more than a month ago, right? When we started to have some different conversations, and I was immediately drawn to what you guys do, and so welcome, guys. I appreciate you guys being on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And so before we get started, I wanted to read the vision for the organization because I think that it's truly powerful and impactful. And so the vision for Dress for Success is our vision is a world where women do not live in poverty. We strive for a world where all women are financially independent, are treated with dignity and respect, and are directly impacting the lives of those of their families. We aspire to a world that fully harnesses the power of women and recognizes their role in economic sustainability. And that's such a powerful message, and it's unfortunate that it has to actually be a message, and it actually has to be, something that's out there. But certainly, really kudos for all of the work that goes into this, and really all of the women that you've helped impact all over the world.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we are a worldwide organization. Dress for Success Western Massachusetts is a local affiliate that
Mhm.
we service the 4 counties in Western Mass, but overall, it's across the globe. So we impact women, you know,
Hello.
you got it, all over, Cassandra.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so powerful, and it's such a great, because really the one thing that we all need is really hope and support, and this is something that gives hope and support to those who need it. And yeah, and so Margaret, maybe you can just explain a little bit about maybe the organization and really all that kind of goes into what you guys do for people.
I mean, we serve women come to us with a variety of different situations. Primarily, they're coming to us because they're unemployed, low income, and looking to find a way to make a life better for themselves, make a life better for their family. And we
Mm,
provide a variety of different supports. We try to be as um, individualized as we can, because everybody has a different situation where they've had to overcome.
yeah,
um,
yeah.
Whether it's leaving an abusive relationship, or just recently coming out of drug rehab, or maybe there's a stay-at-home mom that is doesn't have the skill set to enter the workforce, and we help them get connected and support each other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
and that's go ahead.
it's basically like the support system. Like certain people really don't have certain women don't have the support, and but Dress for Success is really, I think for me, it has been a huge support for me. And the
Mm,
fact that a woman is able to have that availability to have that support um is definitely something that
Yeah.
it's amazing. So
yeah, and that's really one thing that, we all have a shining star within inside of us, right? But not all of us have the ability to surround ourselves with individuals that are going to help us understand what that is and allow us to keep, trying new things, or just even some basic support sometimes that we all need in life that sometimes through different circumstances we just don't have. And so yeah, the world is it's amazing. I really I'm a true believer that this journey is ours, and it's up to us to kind of move ourselves in the direction that we want, but we can't do that without other people's help. Nobody can do any of this all alone. And so what a wonderful organization to be able to do that and give that back to people.
yeah, definitely.
I was recently, I'm also working with the Women's Fund on a Women's Economic Mobility Hub, and that was one of the conversations, is this idea of a network of support. And some of us take for granted the relationships that we have and the ability to reach out, and I recently um reconnected with somebody who's at a major corporation, because I'm like, this is something that Dress for Success, can utilize. And the fact that I have that rapport and relationship and can make that connection
Mm.
and request support, where a lot of the women that come to us, they don't have that. um, Even growing up, I got a flat tire and I called my dad. He'd tell me what to do. Well, scrap that, because I was about to admit that my parents still pay for my AAA. You can leave that. My parents still pay for my.
It's okay.
And it's just I don't know, you take it for granted. And then when you can provide it for someone else, I mean, it's so rewarding. I mean, the fact that you're inviting us to a podcast that's Live Your Life with Purpose is so special, because we have over 100 active volunteers.
Wow.
And a lot of active volunteers, and it's absolutely, they're donating their time, which is valuable.
Mhm.
And because it is a purpose. And Cassandra not just came to us. How many years ago, Cassandra?
Well, I've been with you guys since 2015.
Oh, great.
And basically, I know I had reached out to you, like, maybe, was it 2019? I reached out to you. I'm not sure, but I know I had reached out and I said that I wanted to volunteer at the Eastfield Mall. And then you had asked me, you were like, would you like to do public speaking? And I'm like, no. No.
You did not say no, you said yes.
After didn't I have to know, and then I gave you a call back and I was just like, actually, no, I think I do want to do the public speaking.
Yeah.
Wasn't it something like that? Because I know I did, like, at first I thought about it and I was like, hey, maybe I should try it out.
Mm.
And
I know
pardon?
Yeah.
as I know it was something like that. But then I did the whole public speaking thing. That's when I was like, okay, I can actually do this.
And when you reached out in 2015, was it so that were you at a time in your life where you needed, some support from somebody else, and you were able to find that with the organization?
Yeah. In 2015, I just had my son,
Mhm.
and I was like a year without working, and I really didn't have much to do, but I was just in a place where I was struggling, trying to find a job. And then with me, most of the jobs that I have gotten was basically through people,
Yeah.
'cause I'm very shy. Like, when it came to interviews, I wasn't really talkative. Like, I don't know, it was nothing to where I am now, I can just say. So,
Well, and it's hard, especially if you're a little bit more introverted, you may be a little bit insecure about a couple of different things. And how do you then translate that into a positive kind of place to get into this interview and present your best self when sometimes we don't feel the best about ourselves? And so it's a slippery slope for people, because, you're there trying to, put this in the forefront, and sometimes you just maybe need help with kind of somebody who is involved in the interview process, and maybe can give you some guidance with regards to, okay, well, focus on these things about yourself, or just in general, anything. I think that's it can be difficult for individuals for a lot of different reasons, especially interviewing,
yeah.
because it's tough. There's an anxious, right? Like, I need a job, you have a job, and and it becomes difficult for people.
Yeah. And that's basically what Just for Success was for me. Once I got into the program in 2015, they basically showed me certain things that I had knowledge on. So the fact that I can say that after for that program, I was actually more knowledgeable when it came to interviews. Like, I know what to do, what not to do, what not to say, what to say. Like, I looked at it as a way where I needed the job, but they needed me.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to find a way where, why am I so good for this position? But I wanted to show them, like, you guys need me. I don't need you.
Mm-hmm.
You need. So,
I love it.
yeah. So basically, Just Success was just a way to actually give me that confidence that I needed.
Yeah.
After years, and I got it. And now that I'm able to do things, talk more, and I'm more confident in myself, where I'm able to speak more about what I do and speak to people. So I'm just not shy and like
Hmm.
rather just myself. So it's it's a blessing, the fact that I was able to meet such incredible women and be able to have the opportunity to be part of an organization that not only it had made me gone farther, but it actually showed me what my passion was and what was my availability of what I wanted to do, what I enjoy doing. And that was basically to empower and motivate and show other women that there's other things out there. Like even when we feel alone, or even we feel like we don't have the support, like go on the internet. You can look. Like not only that, it's Just for Success is just, it's an incredible organization to be a part of.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm,
love it. And I would imagine it helped you see a different version of yourself that you see now, right? Like because who you are now compared to that who you were as that individual in 2015. 2015, you could have never imagined this version of yourself, I'm sure. But
yeah.
now that you're here, it's like, oh my gosh, what's next? Where else can I go? What else can I do? What else can I achieve? But all the while now you get to help others who maybe were in your say similar situation and can't see past that for themselves, but now you give them inspiration that they can find things for themselves.
Yeah. And the fact that, even with the fact that they're able to give us like suits, it was amazing. Like I remember when I interviewed for this place, even my supervisor now, like he's like, I remember when you came in and you had like a fancy suit. Like he always tells me that, like every time when somebody then he's just like, I remember when Cassandra came in, she came in with a suit, and he was like, right there, I was like, yeah, she's gonna get hired. She's gonna get hired. So he always tells me that, like, I remember when you had your fancy suit. So it's just like things like that. People really remember you. And not only that, just your personality and the person you are. Sometimes, many times we get into things that we feel that we have to not be ourselves. But believe it or not, when we are ourselves is when we are more successful and people kind of take us more
Yes.
serious. So
Yeah, no, I love that because the more that you're yourself, this is the authentic version of you. People trust that. And even if it doesn't necessarily match up identically, it's like, okay, well, I know that I can work with her because we've had a great conversation and she seems really ambitious and she seemed like she was able to adapt to this situation. But if you're trying to be somebody that you're not, people are able to read that and it's never going to really work out that best. So having that confidence of having a new suit so that you can go in there and do that is a powerful thing versus maybe just going in kind of what you have, not feeling the best. But when you dressed up in that suit, your demeanor, I'm sure, was so much different, right?
and the one thing too that I can say is that I remember they had told me to write 2 questions, so that way at the end of the interview I had questions
You
to
had
ask.
something to, yeah.
And I wrote down the questions, but when I was in the process of the interview, they had asked me, "Do you have any questions?" I'm like, I do, but I don't remember them. Can I read them off my paper?"
Yeah, that's fine.
You went off paper, they started laughing. They're like, "Oh my God, that's so funny!" And they, till this day, that's another thing too. They always bring up, like, I remember when you came with your little pad with your questions.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. And Margaret, I saw you shaking your head with regards to the suits. So how is that an impact? How has that impacted the organization? I'm sure, was that always something? Did that evolve? How?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so Dress for Success started over 20 years ago, and it started in the basement of a church in New York City, and they did precisely that. They provided suits for women to go on interviews that could not afford them. And I would say that's one of the universal programs across the country that
Yeah.
most Dress for Success affiliates do. And it's true that when women get a suit, they stand taller. And over 20 years, the organization has really evolved to so much more. We have now, in addition to providing suits, we have 4 other programs.
Oh,
So we have a workforce development program, a one-on-one mentor program. We also we recently formed a digital literacy program out of necessity with what's going on with um, what's happened with COVID and
Yeah.
people having to be at home. And, this to some people is a luxury to be able to get on Zoom, and
Yeah.
they don't have the connectivity, the equipment, or the know-how. So
Hmm.
that's been a new program we've started. And certainly the professional women's group, which you came to speak with. And, those are women like Cassandra that are looking to improve their skills and present themselves more professionally and, you know, pave a positive career path.
Yeah. And as far as, so what is the biggest need for the organization? I mean, I would imagine, one, there's a tremendous need for women out there, but sometimes they don't really know where to turn or even to start asking for that help. But then also on the volunteer side, I would imagine that there's also a tremendous need for individuals as well.
So we have a new website, www.dfs Western Mass. It's actually dfswm.org.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so we have, a lot of information about how to become a volunteer, all the different volunteer opportunities, always a donate now button so that, people can make a financial contribution. But in terms of what women need right now, we pivoted quickly to provide digital literacy. And, I'm not sure if you're aware of the millions of women that have either had to or chose to leave the workforce
Mm.
since the pandemic. And I think it's
Hmm.
like 4 or 5 times the rate of men. And, it's,
And it's super difficult, right? I've talked to a couple of different women who, had their careers and then were now transitioned into being, helping their kids with online learning. And how do you do both, right? Like, how do you help a child all day and do your job?
Mhm. And Cassandra could speak to that. And she's,
Yeah.
I know with your employment, there was times when you had to advocate for yourself. But I think you are one of the, dedicated and fortunate, you had, I'll let you speak to it, but you still have
Yeah. How is
employment.
that
Yeah,
for you?
it was really tough. I ended up leaving maternity leave in March. So I was literally almost a year without being on site in my job. I just started being full time on site like maybe a month ago,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
yeah, about a month ago. But I can say it was very hard. Like even for my son, like he just had a lot of questions, and he's just like, "Why are we doing this? Why can I not see my friends?" And it's just like to have that where you have to explain to them what's exactly going on. And he's aware now, but
Hmm.
he's very excited to actually be able to go back to school now in April. Um,
Yeah.
but it's still hard because I had to work from home, but I also had to stop what I'm doing to go ahead and deal with him. And it was to the point where I was full time, so I had to go part time because he had to be at school at 1. But I couldn't do my job and then also, teach him and make sure he's only 5
Yeah.
and do what he's doing. So it was to the point where, I had to pick up phones, and it's just like I had to stop what I'm doing to be able to attend to him. So I was just like, I'm sorry, but I don't think I can do it full time the 9 to 5. I think I have to do until 1 o'clock because I think that's the best thing. But it was hard because, I wasn't getting my full income.
Yeah. The financial strain.
Yeah, so it was really hard. And then, I just had to figure out a way to be able to just manage it all. I mean, I did it, especially having a baby was even harder too. My daughter was, just being
Hmm.
born. So um it was hard, but she's a sleepyhead, just like her mom. So she I can say it was a little easier for me because she likes to sleep. So as long as if I take her a shower and I put her in bed, she'll sleep. So I'll be able to attend to my son. But other than that, there was a little. It was tough.
Mm.
It
And we don't really give ourselves credit and realize how strong we are. And so, especially women over men. I mean, you're certainly a stronger species with everything that goes on, but it really is, it's a testament to what you can do and how far you can push yourself. But I would imagine that during that time, you tend to stop taking care of yourself, right? I've talked to a lot of women who is like, they were, they get into this protective mode,
Yeah.
and you want to protect your children and your, your family, but then, sometimes you can give up on some things that are good and healthy for you. Do you have like a healthy routine for yourself, or something about how you take care of yourself? Or did you realize maybe through COVID that, you know, that there's some need to again just recharge the bucket, right? Fill the jar
Yeah.
so you can keep giving.
Um, I started this program called Beachbody. I don't know if
Mm,
you heard. And
yep.
it was basically they give us workouts on the TV, so we could just access it from our phone, and they give us ways of being able to learn how to eat properly, like
Mhm.
nutrition and stuff. So after I had my daughter, I realized that I wanted to take care of myself. So the fact that COVID happened, I actually spent the time being home with my kids, but also I wanted to find time for me. So I told
Yeah, good.
myself, I am going to make sure that I'm healthy, make sure I'm good, make sure I eat well, and I build my confidence, because COVID was very stressful, and the fact that I
Yeah.
wasn't able to go see my family, even now, like being that my dad has a lot of health issues, I'm not able to see him now because I'm afraid of giving him COVID.
Yeah.
But um I just really told myself that I was just going to focus on me, because if I'm not good, if I'm not happy, my kids are going to be affected by it. So I really
That's
told my
such a powerful message right there.
yeah.
Like, and I started this whole journey for myself after my mother passed. I took care of her. She had Alzheimer's for 6 years. And the one thing that I realized afterwards, while I gave her everything that I had, I wasn't 100%. And so if I didn't take care of myself, then I couldn't give her 100% regardless. And
Yeah.
so the more that I realized that we all need something in our lives to take care of ourselves so that we can flourish, that we can, be a positive role model. And that's you develop healthy habits and routines now that you're able to pass on to your children, right? They see you taking care of yourself, and automatically they're going to start to do some of those same things.
Yeah, they want to do it. My son, sometimes he's just like, Mom, let's work out. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
I used to love, I don't go anymore, but I used to go and work out at a place. And there was nothing that gave me more satisfaction than to see, a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old kind of come running into the gym and doing burpees with their mom, or trying to do a push up. And it is that imitation is the best form of flattery, right? And so you're giving yourself and giving your kids these, just some good healthy routines. And even if it's a walk, it doesn't have to be Beachbody, but COVID was a great time to be able to incorporate, an online program. We're stuck at home, but yet you found a way to make it work. And I think that that's what people need to understand, is that everyone's situation is going to be different, and just how do you make it work for yourself. And kudos to you for doing that, for continuing to do that, and now helping others, which is really fantastic. And are you able to kind of share that information? Is that what, I know we talked a little bit about wanting to do a podcast, is what are some of the thoughts with regards to now maybe sharing some of your message?
so basically, when I decided to do a podcast, which is crazy because I know I just wanted to mention this, but filmed me and I seen Live Your Life with Purpose, I had mentioned that I wanted my podcast to be made with a purpose.
There you go.
Yeah, so but yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Um So what my podcast was really about is I wanted to be to empower women. So I know a lot of times that women, they want to do stuff, but sometimes we feel like we don't have it in us, or sometimes we don't have the tools to actually go to who we can to be able to succeed.
Hmm.
Um, so what I want my podcast to be about is I wanted to have certain women from like, different careers, who has their businesses, who had how they overcame their obstacles and how they are where they are now. And I wanted them to be able to give their message and be able to show that, even though, to share a little bit about what they've been through.
Yeah.
That's basically what I wanted to be about. I just wanted you where people can just be like, wow, she's just like me. Like, if she can do this, I can do this. Like, and a lot of times that's where we as women, we beat ourselves up too much, and we feel like, we're not capable to do certain things, because of certain of our past or whatever. But everybody goes through stuff. Everybody goes through things, and it may not be the same, but I'm pretty sure we all can relate. And but I know, women who have came a long way, and that's just an inspiration to me. Because it's like we all have the availability to be able to be who we want to be. We just have to find the right people to get it out of us sometimes.
Exactly. No, it's fantastic. I love hearing that. And Margaret, I would imagine for you, how satisfying is it to kind of just be part of this organization and part of a process, where you can impact people's lives like that?
We talk about, what we provide for women, but for me, I get just as much, if not more, out of it. I mean, I wake up every day with purpose.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine, doing anything else other than serving others and trying to help other people improve their lives.
Yeah. How long have you been with the organization?
I've been with the organization 4 years now, and pretty much the first full-time exec. So it was
that's awesome. And what kind of got you, kind of thinking about it, or did you kind of launch it in Western Massachusetts? Like, how did that whole thing get? Yeah.
No, thank you for asking. No, Dress for Success in Western Mass was founded a little over 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And
Yep.
I have worked for women and girls organizations my entire life. The majority of my career was with Girl Scouts of Connecticut, and it just was a passion.
My wife used to work for the Girl Scouts in Western Mass.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, that's always been a part of, my advocacy for social justice and helping sort of balance the scale for women. And honestly, I worked for Girl Scouts of Connecticut, and then I was doing some consulting work, and then I saw the position open up, and really I knew the brand. I mean, Dress for Success has an impeccable brand.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize, like so many other people, is it's more than a suit. And then I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these programs, and this is our mission, is to help women become self-sufficient. And then, so then we started some additional programs, and we just keep growing to make sure that we're providing, the best services so that women can improve their lives. And again, I always just go back to what's going on right now with the pandemic, that, our work is probably more important than ever before.
Yeah. Yeah. And so where is the biggest need for the organization right now? Is it awareness? Is it, helping those that need it get to that help? Where is the biggest either challenge or, kind of, I don't know if it's a pain point, but just, an emphasis of where people could help?
So there's a few places, I wouldn't call them pain points, but I'd call them opportunities.
Okay.
One is getting into the community. We work with referring agencies, so a lot of agencies refer to us, but I still feel like there's more women we could reach. I would say that awareness is a big, opportunity as well. We have our Strong Suit campaign that's going out. If you have an opportunity to share it on social media.
Sure.
Because again, it's that awareness of we're so much more. And then, quite honestly, one of the situations I think all nonprofits are in right now, we received emergency funding this year, and because of the pandemic, we've lost some revenue streams, but that's been covered by emergency funding. It's actually not this fiscal year I'm worried about. It's the next fiscal year that starts for us in July. So, financial contributions go a long way, and they stay right here in our community.
Excellent, excellent. And so, I really, before we end, kind of wrap this up, I just appreciate you guys coming on and sharing this information, because it's great to see successes and understand that there's resources and support for people. And so the more that we can highlight all of this stuff, I think is better for everyone, because the more it's talked about, then the more people are open to reaching out when they need help.
Yeah.
But one thing that I'm really interested in, other than the podcast, Cassandra, I mean, you've certainly seen a change for yourself, right? But what do you look for now in the future? I mean, where do you see yourself going? What are you excited about taking your career, taking your family?
I kind of want to do more of the aspect of motivating people. So I am trying to get into more of the behavioral health aspect.
Mhm.
I kind of find myself more interested in that field. So right now I'm not quite sure exactly what I want to do in that field, but that's just where my heart is.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've always, since I was a little girl, I've always had like I wanted to change the world. Like I wanted to do some kind of a change. And I feel like Just for Success had put me on that track. So this is just the start and I'm just getting there. But if it wasn't for Just for Success, I don't think I would be the woman I am today. But I can say I'm willing to try all different kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
At
love
this,
it.
I don't really know exactly what it is I want to do, but what I can say is I do want to explore more of the motivational speaker
Yeah.
roles. I want to get myself more involved in that, but I don't know. Hopefully.
Well, follow that intuition, and just know you can take yourself wherever you want to go. So I love what you're doing. I love that, Dress for Success has made it such an impact for your life, and if it can make an impact for your life, then it makes an impact for thousands and thousands of people around the world. But knowing it gives people hope and opportunity that potentially need it right now, that there is a place to go, that there is a place for resources, more than just getting a suit, right? Like having the ability to really alter your path that you're on, which is fantastic. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Well, thank you both for joining the podcast. I think that this is probably an appropriate time to end. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to connect. It was certainly powerful, Cassandra, to hear your story and to see where you are now and what you're doing. And Margaret, what a great job in leading an organization in Western Mass to help so many wonderful people get things that obviously sometimes they never thought that they could get to. So fantastic work. Keep on doing the amazing work that you guys are doing there.
Thank you.
Thank
Excellent.
you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. All right, guys.